Hey y'all, it's Kay from the Literary Apothecary, and today is Wednesday, so we're going to be doing another book review for today. Today we're going to be talking about Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. I read this as part of my birthday series. This was for my friend Mer at Mer Read's birthday, and I'll put her channel description in the link below. Mer is fantastic and I love her to pieces, but Anxious People is one of her favorite books. I read this for her birthday. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. And so let's go into spoiler-free summary. This is a contemporary fiction book. Fredrik Backman is, I guess pretty well known as a contemporary writer. I read A Man Called Ove by him last year, and I absolutely loved that book so much. It hit me at the right time. In Anxious People, this is a poignant, charming novel about a crime that never took place, a would-be banker who disappears into thin air, and 8 extremely anxious strangers who find they have more in common than they ever imagined. Some parts of this were really funny and some parts were really sad. Fredrik Backman has a way of taking real-life issues and putting them into these fictional stories and just making you see real life in fiction, and that I can really, really appreciate from him. So let me just talk about some spoilers here so I can really dig into this book. So our bank robber goes to a bank that turns out to be a cashless bank and then flees across the street when cops are called. We learn that the bank robber is only robbing the bank for rent money because their partner has filed for divorce after cheating on them with their boss. The partner takes the house, the bank robber loses their job, and now their ex-partner threatens for full custody of their kids. The bank robber flees into an apartment that is apparently having an apartment viewing and holds everyone there hostage. So these 8 strangers are now held hostage by this failed bank robber. And that's the setup of our story, basically. And the rest of the story is these hostages getting to know each other and going through this ordeal together with the bank robber. And in the end, they find a way to help the bank robber, and it's heartwarming. And we learn later that the bank robber is a female, which was a big reveal about 3/4 of the way through the book. I know some of my friends had figured this out early on in the book, but in my brain the bank robber had been a male, so this was a huge reveal for me. We learned that the young cop that's on this bank robbing case, this hostage case, was a boy 10 years ago, was a boy who tried to stop a guy from jumping and committing suicide. And we get this in kind of almost a flashback in a weird way, where it says, the narrator says 10 years earlier, there's this boy that's trying to stop this guy from jumping off the bridge. We also learned that one of our hostages now in present day saw this boy stop another jumper who is now this hostage's psychologist, and she was also the banker who refused the first jumper a bank loan. And so just shows you the interconnected ways of society and people in this world. Like I said, for me, the beginning was very confusing. It jumped around a lot in time, points of view, style, and tone, and it was really hard to just get a grasp on this book and this writing. The second person, we have it here and there, and it didn't really work for me. In other books, it worked for me really well, like The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. But in this book, it didn't work for me because I didn't feel any connect to the story. And I don't know if that's partly due to translation, because this is I believe, Swedish book. Fredrik Backman is Swedish, and so this was a translation from that originally, or just his writing style in general. But the second person didn't work for me. In the beginning, I was really bored a lot. But the ending, that ending had so much emotion and truth packed into it, it raised the book to a new level for me. I was crying by the end of it, and I'm going to talk about some of my favorite quotes, but then I have another special message at the end of this video, so I hope you guys stay tuned. So some of my favorite quotes. Okie dokie, the real estate lady chirps, as if that were a real Swedish word. Because that was a parent's job, to provide shoulders for your children to sit on when they're little so they can see the world, then stand on when they get older so they can reach the clouds, and sometimes lean against whenever they stumble or feel unsure. If the grass looks greener on the other side of the fence, that's probably because it's full of shit. The most expensive thing you can buy in the most densely populated places on the planet is distance. Space. Bridges exist to bring people closer together. And it's such an odd thing, the way you can know someone perfectly through what they read. And so the last part in this review that I have to talk about is why the ending of this book was so special to me. So the ending of this book dealt with depression and suicide and grief in such an impactful way. It brought me to tears during a book that I was bored at parts, and I just wanted to take this moment to say that we all have those moments in life where we go through depression and we go through hard times and we feel like we can't do it anymore. I've had many times in my life where I've done that. I've thought about suicide several times in my life, and at least once I've tried it. And my salvation that I found was books. Books saved my life because they brought me out of the real world, the hurt that I was hurting, and brought me into a different world. Whether it was a real story in a real world at a different time, in a different place, or a fictional story in a fantasy world. So the message that I got out of Anxious People, that everyone goes through these hard times and you just need to find your people, find your family, your found family. I just did a video on Sunday about found family, and I'll link that here. Find your people, find your release from this world, find what does that for you, and just don't give up, because there are people out there here to support you. We love you, and you know, there's always someone here. I have safe spaces on my Discord where you can come and talk about anything that you need to, vent or cry or talk about real life stuff. My Discord is a safe space. No one is there to make fun of you or judge you for it. And if you need to, get the help that you need. I'm currently seeing a counselor right now for all of the problems that I'm going through, all the things that I'm trying to fight through. And, you know, there's people out there to help, and I'm going to link the suicide hotline down below. If you feel like you just need to give up, call the hotline. There's people there that are there to help you. Talk to me, send me a message. I'm here for you. I'm your friend, I'm your family. We're all family here at BookTube. So just know that you're not alone, and everyone goes through these moments. So that's my review for Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. I hope you really enjoyed this review. I'm trying to get my reviews more in depth and meaningful, so I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you've read this book, let me know what you thought in the comments below also. As always, my Patreon and my Discord information will be in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Keep reading, and I love y'all to the moon and back. Bye.